I am an imposter as I sit in the mandatory monthly parent education meeting at my daughter's co-op play-based progressive preschool. The parents that gravitate to this program are highly educated, conscientious, resourceful, goal-oriented, health-conscious, hard-working citizens. They are good parents. I recognize good parenting, and I try to stay in as close proximity to it as possible, hoping that it might rub off on me through osmosis or something. So the topic on this night is kindergarten readiness. How do we help our littles? That's what they call our kids, littles. Develop the social skills and the pencil grip and the confidence needed to succeed in the cutthroat kinder world. And many of these parents are teachers in their own right, and one of them is talking about her 4th grade classroom and how she always inevitably has a couple of RBWs in her class. I freeze. I've never heard this acronym before, but somehow intuitively know that it applies to me. I hold my breath as she clarifies, raised by wolves. She's looking in my direction as she says this. I think they're on to me, but I play it off, nodding and even chiming in on the knowing laughter as it trills in a wave through the Parks and Rec clubhouse. Oh yeah, RBWs. We all know a few of those, huh? Then I shift in my seat, imagining what must have been said about me at the coffee clutch after drop-off. Have you seen her house? I don't know how she lives like that. There's just crap everywhere. Her poor kids, they live like animals. Hence the term, raised by wolves, animals raising animals. I sometimes overhear myself saying things to my children like, you know you're not supposed to stand on the coffee table when you're at other people's houses, right? Or I just don't think to mop the floor until I notice that the bottom of my feet are black. And here's the kicker. Get ready to judge. I don't make my kids clean their rooms. I know. It's shocking, and it's wrong. And I recently watched a TED Talk that showed a direct correlation between doing chores as a kid and success later in life. I know it's important, but how do I tell them to clean their rooms when my room, it looks like it's been ransacked? I mean, sometimes I wonder, God forbid, if we were ever robbed, I'm not sure we'd even be able to tell. So, okay, when you're a single 20-something waitress/actress living in an apartment in West Hollywood and your room's a mess, it is considered cute, even charming. But there's nothing cute about being a 40-something matriarch of a family of 4 who's somewhere between putting her kids in their car seats and running back in to get their vitamins, loses her keys, causing her son to be an hour and a half late for school. The mom's supposed to be the clean one, the organized one who rolls her eyes at her husband's caveman-like ways, stealthily keeping the house in order, setting the stage for her family to achieve their goals and dreams. But somehow I'm missing that particular strand of DNA. I'm a bad influence on my husband. It's true. He's right over there. He was much neater before he started living with me. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, get it together, lady. Grow up. Every item needs a home. Just put things in their place. It's not that hard, right? Okay, my question for you is this. What if there are too many things and not enough places? What if making homes for things requires massive amounts of sorting and deciding about countless piles of other things that are all heaped together in oppressive disorder on every flat surface, nook and cranny of the house, so that doing that would take at least 2 weeks without children present to even make a dent, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. Plus, we have soccer practice in 12 minutes. I can't get my daughter to eat dinner. My son's cleats won't go on his feet because the soccer socks are too thick, or are the cleats too small? I don't know. Get them on! There is always an immediate crisis to attend to, which makes the long-term self-improvement goals simply unreachable. So, when I find myself in another mother's well-run household for a play date, it's kind of like entering a portal into another dimension. I study. I watch and observe. I would take notes if I could, but that would be weird. Where is her clutter? Her stacks of mail? Does she have a schedule? What are her systems? Dust on Monday? Clean bathrooms Tuesday? Vacuum Wednesday? Mop on Thursday? Is her dining room table free of multiple stacks of paper and magazines? And do they all sit down together and eat the same meal? Look at the bins. They're all perfectly sized and labeled for each genre of toy. One for Paw Patrol, one for Legos, one for Shopkins. That's it. That's the answer. I need more plastic bins. You know, if there's one thing I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's that more plastic bins will not solve this problem. The problem goes deeper than bins. But sometimes I'll get brave and I'll lament about my difficulties with housekeeping, and other moms will agree and say, oh, I know, my house is a mess too. Oh, and I'll get this temporary relief, from my perpetual self-loathing and feel like I'm not alone. But then after knowing them for a minute, I realize it's not true. That their house, at what they consider its messiest, is mine on a pretty good day. And so I'll stop lamenting and continue to hide. But who am I kidding? My secret is on display for every cable guy or repairman or helpful mother-in-law that ventures into my home, and I fall all over myself apologizing. Please excuse the mess as I lurch to pick up an empty Amazon box or a half-eaten Lara bar before it gets squished. And they always say the same thing. Through impenetrable smiles, they'll say, it's okay, no problem. And I scrutinize their faces wondering, is it? Is it really no problem? Because I know that order is good, order is natural. There's a natural order to things. The planets revolve around the sun, my own heart beats, my lungs breathe. Why can't I tap into this order? For some reason, I have an extraordinarily high tolerance for chaos. It's familiar, and it used to wreak havoc on my dating life. But thank God I outgrew that, but I haven't outgrown this. But every 2 weeks, our beloved savior, our housekeeper, Magda, comes, allowing us to press the reset button on our lives. And I have this bi-weekly ritual of staying one room ahead of her when she's there, just clearing the flotsam and jetsam out of her way so she can actually clean. And the feeling of calm and peace that is created, even though the stuff is literally just crammed in drawers and closets, but the space to think and to feel in an uncluttered room, it is exquisite, but somewhat foreign to me. And I hate to admit it, but there's this small part of me that seeks to destroy it. Don't worry, I'm in therapy. But it's always been this way. As a kid, I would make trails through the clothes, toys, and books in my room so that my mom would come in and tuck me in at night. She, being of the 1970s, free to be you and me generation of parenting, and does not impose her will on me. But is that it? Were these skills not instilled at a young age, and so now I'm doomed? And will my kids repeat the cycle? Because I watch them. They come to life after Magda leaves. The floors are shiny, the room's inviting, and they play for hours in the open space, their imaginations given free rein, unencumbered by the encroaching mess. But then our week gets busy and the chaos lays in wait, but I stay ahead of it, barking orders, dirty clothes in the hamper, dishes in the sink, as it rises like a wave. And then one day that I can't quite pinpoint, somewhere between my husband's work dinner and the Cub Scout Jamboree, I lose my edge, and the wave peaks and crashes, drowning us in mess. And I worry as my kids get older that they won't want to bring friends home because they're too embarrassed. Or what if they're the freshmen in college that nobody wants to room with because they're so messy? I will have a handle on it before then. And I keep trying. I read the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo. I join an online support group for the domestically challenged. I attend a Clutterers Anonymous meeting. And because Albert Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem at the same level of consciousness that created it, I bring in a professional organizer who is phenomenal, but wildly expensive. And let's face it, I really need her to move in with us for a little while. And that's not in the budget, so still it persists. But do I need to be defined by this one flaw? We all have these things, don't we? These areas in our lives that we don't know if we'll ever master. Please tell me that you do. But will I deny my husband and my children and my parents and my friends the best parts of me because I am so paralyzed in shame over this one issue? Sometimes when I go in to wake my son for school, he'll yell out from under the covers, C-U-D-D-L-E. And I'll groan because we're already running late. And I forge a path through the clothes, toys, and books on his floor, my 5-year-old daughter trailing behind me. And we'll scale the miniature ladder on his IKEA bunk bed. And I place one hand on his back, and with the other hand, I feel around to see if he wet the bed. And then I slowly lower my body, trying to stay on the periphery of the pee spot. And my daughter places herself directly on top of me, not letting one part of her touch the mattress, because she's no dummy. And we lay there in this half-ass cuddle, my mind racing about the traffic, and now I gotta remember to change the sheets, and we need something in the house for dinner. But then I remember something I heard in that parent education class, that the antidote for overwhelm is connection. And so I roll into the pee spot. Because after all, it's just pee. And I want a closer cuddle, a better angle, more life, maybe feel a heartbeat or trace a rib or two. And my daughter tumbles in between us, and I delight in these warm breathing bodies piled together in our marked territory. We are 3 RBWs, curled up in our den. Now, to be perfectly fair to actual real live wolves, I think they're very clean animals. And they would never lay down in their own pee. So I am no longer an imposter. It's about time I admit I'm a messy mommy. I'm a slob coming out of the shadows. I'm a wolf in mom's clothing. But that's not all I am. Thank you.